we know who is going to be QB1, but who is QB2 in the mind of Tom Crawford? You've got a guy like Davis Warren, who was number 2 for the most part last year, and he's come a long way since illness in high school really reduced his chances or reduced his standing on the big stage. He wasn't recruited as highly as he might have been. And then all of a sudden you get a guy like Alex Orji in here, who is what they call an athletic freak, and certainly a very big guy that could be a mobile quarterback, could give you the short yardage and down by the goal line efforts that could put you over the top. And then you get Indiana transfer Jack Tuttle, who certainly has a number of years under his belt and comes in with the kind of experience and savvy that could be quickly plugged into Michigan's offense. What do you think about these guys, and who do you think emerges as number 2 for Michigan?
When I read a lot of analysts talk about projecting, like Joe Klatt, how can Michigan be number 1? I mean, they look at quarterback depth as a weakness of Michigan. I think it's a strength, quite honestly. When you're dealing with the 3 names that you mentioned, they're all good in my mind. I do think, I know the spring game was not a good indication he turned the ball over, but I think Jack Tuttle to be the guy that doesn't turn the ball over, and that's what you want. You want in your backup, if you can get a Cade McNamara, if God forbid this happens, where someone will have to steer the ship down the stretch if JJ gets hurt, but the fact just manage, I know it's an over cliche, but manage the team, and move the chains. And Jack Tuttle is that guy with his experience that he's had at Indiana. I thought he showed a lot of command in the spring game, even though there were some mistakes. But and Davis Warren has looked good when he's had time. I know it's mop up time, and it's a heck of a story overcoming that the illness and everything. But Alex Orji is this is going back. It's not going way back. But you remember Antonio Bass out of Jackson?
You bet.
You remember him at Michigan? He was kind of a gadget quarterback. He came in, and they were going to move him a wide receiver, but he was kind of a situational quarterback, and he had just horrific knee injury that we know. But Alex Orji is that guy. Different kind of athleticism, but just freak, like you mentioned. And there probably could be some situational opportunities for him, like in the red zone or in other situations where they could use that skill set, because he looks like a running back out there, but he's got a heck of an arm. So I think quarterback is a position of strength beyond J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, well, I do too. And, when you mentioned Jack Tuttle as Tom Crawford's number 2 in the maize and blue, I would say that you not only agree with my esteemed colleague, one Mr. Chris Ballas, but you also agree with a few folks behind the scenes around spring ball for Michigan. But I am going to throw this in. I am not ruling out that number 2 could be Davis Warren, because this guy shows a lot of stuff, a lot of moxie, and I think he is a great story, which could become greater given the right set of circumstances, because I really think that there's a lot to this kid, and I'm anxious to see how this plays out, how Jim Harbaugh operates with his various quarterbacks. And you mentioned Alex Orji will have a role. There's no question about that, because he's got the size, he's got the strength, he's got the running ability, he's got those things that could, in certain situations at this point, I'm not saying he's not going to be an all-around quarterback at some point, but I really think in this situation where you have an established number 1 and some guys that have played number 2 and possibly number 3, that Alex Orji still could have a significant role on this team. So that's a good assessment of the quarterbacks. We'll see how that plays out.